Hello there, Fabiola, friends, family, and fans. My name is Kaleb, and I am Kaleb McConnor. I am playing Fulvius in Fabiola. I'm here with a very special guest today, Megan Geier. Welcome to the show. Yeah, just tell us a
Thank
little bit
you.
about yourself and who are you playing in this project?
Perfect. Well, my name is Megan Geier, and I am playing the role of Lucina in this project. Super excited to start and just really delve into the character.
Right, and that's amazing. Now, how did you hear about it? How did you hear about the audition? How did you go about? What was your process of going about an audition like this?
I luckily had the opportunity to work with Alejandro, who is also in this project.
Okay.
And I worked with him recently there was a proof of concept for a TV series that I was casted in. And he
Wow.
was working that as well as Megan Mulaney, actually. She was also acting
Yeah.
in the same
Wow.
project.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the
And
whole
so
crew's coming back together.
Right, right.
That's
And so it was
great.
really fun because, he just sent me an email and said, "Hey, this movie's shooting or they're trying to cast. So, you know,
Hmm.
think about it." And I was like, "Okay." So I looked into it and initially I actually thought that a funny story. I thought I was auditioning for something else.
Really?
And then yes, because I think I was just confused when I went online and I was like, "All right, I'll just submit because it seems like a really good group."
Yeah.
And yeah, so there was a little bit of confusion back and forth. And then I was like, you know what? Whatever it is, it's God's will. So I'm just going to
I'll
do
just
something.
whatever it is, I'll audition for it anyways. I don't care.
Yeah. And so that was kind of like how I found the project. And then, yeah, it's just been really fun to see that, both Alejandro and Megan are back in it as
Yeah.
well. So I'm excited to work with them again.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Alejandro. Obviously, I'll get more familiar with him as we work together. But like I said, I interviewed Megan last weekend, and I was talking to her about how you guys knew each other through Romeo and Juliet, and
Yes.
how you guys worked together on that as well. And so she said that she absolutely loved that experience, the director, choreographer, and you helped with the dance. Is that correct? You dance outside of acting as well?
Yes. So
Okay.
how I kind of split my time is, yeah, I teach dance, I choreograph musicals, and then act as well. And it's really
Okay.
fun to use like all of those different skills. And so, yes, I
Yeah.
did do the choreography for Romeo and Juliet, which is not a musical, but we had a dance scene, so that was fun.
Yeah. Do you know how to sing as well? I know that's kind of a forward question. Do you sing as well or not really?
I do, but it's
Okay.
not not my top. Yeah. Like
Okay.
if I dance and act, I have down. Singing can use
Perfect.
a little bit of work, but I still sing.
Sure. All right. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for introducing yourself, a little bit about you. I'm going to ask you some questions now, just so that the people who watch Fabiola, who's excited about it, can learn about yourself and look forward to you in the project. So, my first question to you, Megan, is this topic's going to be called gingerness. I have it in my notes. I don't know why. Look, we're both redheaded. I have a hat on. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm redheaded as well. Um, Now we're both gingers. Is has it been a blessing or a curse to you?
What's really funny is I had the exact same question I was going to ask you. So,
Really?
yes, I was like,
Seriously?
has
That's
it helped
great.
or hurt? Yeah. So, I think for me, it's definitely been a blessing. Um, it's made me stand apart from, the crowd a lot of the time. It just felt
Yeah,
different and unique, but not in a bad way. And so, I think especially knowing in the industry, they like to have a variety of people on screen, even for things as
right.
simple as background. It's like
Correct.
sometimes that helps to just look a little different. And then they're like, okay,
And if
well, we
you're
want
in
to
the
bring you in.
background and there's like 20 blonde people and you're the only redhead, you're like, oh, that was me. You got like
Right.
we got like a beacon on our head almost.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
bad thing with that though is every once in a while, I remember being like a couple times just doing background gigs and I would show up and they kept on like picking everybody else around me and like not picking me to come into the scene.
Yeah.
And some people look at me and they're like, well, you just look too unique. And I'm like, well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We
Like
should
so
be getting another like
sometimes,
we should be getting another $3 per hour because of our red hair, I'm telling you.
right. Yeah. Then so the thing, the negative, I guess, with that is that, a couple times there have been castings where, they're trying to look for different kinds of people. And then they are like, oh, sorry, we actually just casted a redhead. And then because of that, it's like they don't really want to have two redheads that are main stars unless for some reason
Yeah.
the story lends to that. So that's also
Yeah.
the way that it could be bad and hurt. But,
Yeah.
it is
I
what
the
it
thing
is.
and you're right about that. I don't think there's any movie. There might be a movie or two that is a full like redheaded cast. You have a whole movie that is full of Black Americans, and you have a full movie that is full of white Americans or Mexican Americans or whatever. But then there's no film of full redheads. I mean, maybe there
Yeah.
is. I don't know, but I see what you're saying. Like, and I write scripts myself as well. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a redhead, and I've even thought I can't have two redheads in the same movie. So
Yeah.
like, not unless they're siblings, you know what I mean? But they can't just be like two redheaded best friends, which is so. You and I are friends. We're both redhead. Why can't I write a
Right.
Why can't I write a movie with two redheads in it? But I totally understand what you're saying. It's just I don't know. It's kind of funny, but it's people either like gingers or they weirdly don't. I don't know. It's like
I
a
know. There's no in
50-50.
between.
So there's no in between. Okay, moving on from gingerness. Okay, so for the next question I have for you, Megan, we kind of already talked about, how you heard about the role of Fabiola. You said that you've worked with other individuals who knew about the project and kind of informed you. Now, for me personally, when I auditioned for the role, after I heard about it, I auditioned for Fulvius and Sebastian, right? So you got the role of Lucina, obviously, but is there anyone else that you auditioned for while reading for Mary and Faustina?
Yes. So actually, at the very beginning, they were saying they were only casting for the role of Fabiola. And
Okay.
so I initially had auditioned for Fabiola.
Is something troubling you, mistress?
It's just something Chromatius said. It didn't make sense.
What was it?
And
Okay.
after they cast and they sent us the email saying, hey, like we loved getting to know you, but we did cast somebody else. They actually said,
Mhm.
but this casting has actually made us rethink some of the other roles. And so they opened up a few more. And I remember they
Okay.
opened up Lucina, Sierra, and I think it was Irene at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
It may have been someone else too, but there were, a couple different roles. And I remember emailing them back saying, yes, like definitely I will re-audition for one of these other ones. And then I remember getting a call and they were saying, you know what, you can absolutely audition if you'd like to, but I just want to let you know, like casting already has you down as this person. We would love to see you in this role. And I was like,
Wow.
great, I'll just take it. Yeah, I didn't have to re-audition. I guess in their minds, they were
Wow.
like, she would make a perfect Lucina.
Wow. That's really good. And again, you know, when I was auditioning for Sebastian and Fulvius, it kind of played the same thing where uh, they had me actually read for Emperor Maxitimium. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name. It's Roman. It's Roman times.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a 2025 American. Um, so I actually auditioned for him and as well, and then I got a call, kind of like you did, and be like, well, we thought that all of your auditions were good, but we're gonna actually just say, hey, if you wanted to be Fulvius, you got the part. And I was like, yeah, of course I'll take the part. I'm stoked.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
well, that's great. That's cool that you were able to audition for Fabiola as well. Obviously, the movie becoming the name. Well, the name is Fabiola. How did you, as an actress, shift your performance um, from being Fabiola to Lucina?
So it is a bit of a shift just, characteristically because Fabiola is a young woman who has a lot of questions about the faith. And
Mm.
Lucina, while still being fairly young, she's in a totally different stage of her life. So,
Yeah.
she, at the very beginning of the film, has a husband and is pregnant with her first child and is
Mhm.
very sure about Christianity. And so I think kind of just shifting, knowing kind of what the focus was on Fabiola. And I was so focused on her before the audition.
Mhm.
Now, just kind of stepping back and going, okay, well, how does it look to just step outside as if I'm looking at Fabiola and, trying to maybe be a guide for people, even if I'm not directly for Fabiola as the role of Lucina, just trying to
Yeah.
figure out how would Fabiola see this character as well, and how might I see the character of Fabiola, and just like kind of how would that look? And that helped me a lot to just step away from Fabiola and start to step into Lucina.
You're just shifting the way you're going into the mind of the other person, looking at like 100% Christian, and then you're looking at the lens of a person who is not 100% Christian. She has a lot of questions about what it is. So yeah, wow, that's great. I'm kind of speechless. That's a good way of looking at it, and actually preparing for a completely different role. So that's great.
Yeah. How about you though? Because I mean, I know you also auditioned for Sebastian, which is a totally different role.
Yeah, no, Sebastian is, he's that young soldier who's Christian and secretly, and for me, I've always been kind of typecasted as like a mean person. I don't know why. Maybe it's the red hair. And so for me, going into that lightheartedness of Sebastian, more gentle, I could play that differently than obviously Fulvius. Fulvius towards the end of the film, again, no spoilers, he is good. But in the very beginning, he's not a good individual, obviously. And, I kind of was able to step inside of that headspace that I kind of always go to if I'm preparing for kind of an evil role, but it's a little different. Obviously, you don't want to have everything the same as other roles, but just knowing that I'm going to have to be somewhat of a pest on set, and also kind of like be a pest of torturing these like Christians, is something that it's kind of hard for me to like get my head around, because I'm a Christian, so I have to try and figure that out. But towards the end of it, I can become good and kind of mellow out and not be so ruthless and cunning and sly and a bad individual. So yeah, no, Sebastian, Fulvius, very different characters. But I think personally, I think that benefited me in the audition, because I understood that they're completely different, so I could just approach it differently.
Right.
Yeah. If they were kind of the same character with like different mannerisms or whatever, it would be a little harder, because then you would feel like you might be overlapping the same character for a different one.
That's true.
Yeah, they were completely different. So I was just like, okay, well, I got this.
You just like flip the other side of the coin.
Exactly. Just a flip of the switch. All right, Megan. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us. And Fabiola, friends and family and fans, be tuned for more podcasts like this. I love talking to the actors that are part of the project as well. And not only do you guys get to meet them, know a little bit more about them, but also what character they're coming to the screen and what can you expect. And it's been an amazing time. And I hope that you have a good rest of your day.
Yes, you too. Thanks for having me.
Of course. See ya. I think for my top three, those would be my top three: Viking, superhero, and a person with a disability.